So you're working out consistently, but you're not losing the weight or belly fat that you want. You're trying to drop some body fat percentage and you're staying consistent with your workouts, but you're just simply not seeing the body fat leave your body. This video, if any of what I just described is describing your situation, this is for you. So this comes from my client, John, who is kicking butt on my foundations program and is getting really consistent with his workouts. He's doing strength training with some gymnastic rings. He's working on mobility, even getting in some cardio, prayer walks, everything in there. And with this, he asked me, hey, I'm just not losing the weight that I want. I'm feeling better. Prayer walks are going well, but just want to be able to lose a little bit of weight. So if that's describing you, this is for you. Let's dive in right now. All right. So John, here's my advice for you and for anybody else in a similar situation. I'm going to share with you 3 first steps to do if you're working out consistently and you're not seeing the belly fat drop the way that you want to. All right. Number 1 is going to be, we want to look at your fasting. Okay. So I recommend in the beginning, an intermittent fasting routine of 14 to 18 hours every day. In very simple terms, if you want to lose body fat, follow these 3 things I'm going to share and eat 2 meals a day, right? So within that 14 to 18 hours of fasting, you will have a 6 to 10 hour eating window in there. And it's probably going to be a smaller eating window if you're eating 2 meals a day. But I just recommend that if you want to drop weight, eat 2 meals a day. Get really, really strict on that. Cut out, you can cut out the extra meals. You can have an optional snack, but don't let that snack turn into a full-fledged meal. And just simply focus on staying true to 2 square meals a day. And so with that, it's super, super easy to hit a calorie deficit just off of operating from those 2 meals. As you won't have to count calories unless you just really want to. You can operate from 2 meals every single day in a very, very good place. And one of the things that you can do to accelerate your fat loss from the fasting specifically by following this tip right here with fasting along with the other 2 tips is, while following a regular routine of 2 meals a day, sprinkling in once to twice a week a 24-hour fast or a full day fast. So when I'm really trying to lean out, my favorite routine for that is Monday. I start every week off with a full day fast. I do not eat a single thing all Monday. My last meal would be Sunday evening, and then my next meal would be Tuesday afternoon, typically, where I would normally have my meal during intermittent fasting for lunch. So that's how I would start the week. And then I would do 2 meals on Tuesday, 2 meals on Wednesday. And then around Thursday or Friday, I would do an OMAD, which is 1 meal a day or a 24-hour fast. So Monday is a NOMAD or a no meal a day, full day fast. And Thursday or Friday later in the week, do a 24-hour fast, which is called an OMAD, 1 meal a day. Do not confuse this with a full day fast. 24 hours of fasting is not a full day. Full day is typically 36 hours or more. All right. So that's what I'd recommend for fasting. Your base should be 2 meals a day. And if you're not seeing results with that, sprinkle in once to twice a week, either an OMAD and or a NOMAD. I recommend 1 NOMAD a week and 1 OMAD a week if you really want to shred out. Now, next point, focus on nutrition from the standpoint of getting high protein. All right, most people's protein is incredibly low. I like to aim for 0. When trying to really lose fat in the sense of, like John, I know for you, you don't have a lot of fat on your body, but I know that you have some that you want to lose. You're around 15, 16% body fat. When you're lower body fat like that compared to being 20, this is for males, so female equivalent would be like 25% or lower. And for men, it's like, if you're above 15, 16, 17, 20% body fat in that range, you can aim for 0.6 grams of protein per pound of body weight. But when you're trying to lose those last few pounds, I recommend ramping up the protein and going anywhere from about 0.75 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. So let's say, John, for instance, you're trying to get down to, let's say 180, right? I would recommend, if you're trying to get down to 180 and you weigh about, I think you're in the 190s, you mentioned. So I would recommend getting about 150 grams of protein or more a day. That range, maybe 140, 135 and higher, anywhere around there to 150 all the way up to 185 is a great place to aim for, up to 200 grams, right? So with this, when you are eating 2 meals a day, what is that gonna look like? Meat, and lots of it, right? You're gonna go for more animal-based protein. Don't bother with necessarily trying to stuff a bunch of vegetables down your throat. Nothing wrong with veggies, have them as you like, but meat and organs and animal-based protein should be the number one core focus in that diet. So this would look like meal one could be having about 8 to 10 ounces of some form of lean meat or fatty meat, so red meat, chicken, fish, and then dinner, I like more fattier meats like some grass-fed ground beef. It's about 80-20. Steak, ribeye is awesome at this point in time, and enjoying those 2 meals. And if you need a little bit of extra protein, my personal favorite is to get a scoop of some chocolate whey protein and mix it together with some unsweetened coconut milk. Tastes really good, pretty simple. Collagen protein works out really well as well too. If you like pea protein, go ahead and do that. I just find it to be a little bit more chalky than I enjoy. But this is a pretty simple way that you can get in some extra protein right there. So that would easily get you to about 150 right there. And don't be afraid to add that protein shake in if you need, or to eat bigger servings of meat. Sometimes you just have to eat a pound of meat in a sitting, and there's nothing wrong with it. Buy an entire rotisserie chicken and eat that whole thing for dinner. Great meal right there. So now we got the protein settled. Make sure your protein's high enough. And then finally, throw in some low carb days. What I mean by that? I mean, you don't have to cut out carbs completely and go keto, but what I do recommend is that you sit down and once, twice, maybe 3 days a week, sometimes you may even do a couple days in a row, go really low carb. Like I'm talking low to no carb. But don't feel like you have to live from the dogma of carbs are evil and you can't have them. But when you have a day to where, let's call it fasting from carbs, when you go through that, your body tightens up like crazy. You will lose a lot of bloating, your energy levels will be clear. You may have some headaches or feel a little bit weird, the first couple times you try it because your body's adapting to the fat. But try this out on like your OMAD days. Just have a big old ribeye and maybe some veggies if you want some veggies on the side. Eat a ribeye with lots of butter on there. Have a big old keto salad. This is one of my wife and I's favorite. It's ground beef, avocados, eggs, feta cheese or goat cheese, mixed up into some greens with some balsamic vinaigrette on top. Really, really good. You scramble up the eggs and slice up the avocados, put some salt and pepper on top. Great meal. So you could do that on your 1 meal a days and get a no carb day or a low carb day there. And just try that out. Don't feel like it's has to be your dogma or your religion, right? Because as Jesus tells us, nothing defiles us that goes into our mouth, right? So it's not like carbs are the worst thing in the world, but when you get rid of them, you do tend to lean out pretty well. So try that out. Have a few low carb days or no carb days a week. Throw in 1 to 2 24 or 36 hour fasts or longer in your week. Have a base of intermittent fasting and get your protein up with animal-based foods. All right, that's it for the video here. Let me know if this was helpful, and I'd love to hear back from you guys with the results after a couple weeks trying this out. Take care.